I always loved science. When I was a kid, I would make model rockets. I would take them out to a field and do the countdown and launch them, and I think they're all still in trees around my parents' house. By the way, I'm 49, and there's a model rocket that's on its way to being finished in my home. So it's not like I've given up on any of that stuff. My head has always been in spaceships, astronomy, chemistry, physics, biology. Now finally, I have the privilege of kind of indulging in adventure in a way that I just never thought would actually happen. We have way too many problems on Earth, and that is exactly why we need to go to space. We need to start to find new ways to solve those problems. I think it's by creating innovation fueled by science and engineering and math and the technology that brings it all together. Once you see the world from a far enough perspective and you think differently about borders and how we are like one human race and we live on this very fragile planet, I think this is all about solving the problems on Earth.
Welcome back to Earth. Looking for a status check. Astronaut DeVries.
Astronaut DeVries is the best he's ever been.
I was saying to Leah as soon as I got off, I was like, I don't think I can describe that, but I'm gonna try. Having gone to space is just incredible. It really is a dream come true. But I feel like democratizing space and equity and access are really important. There are so many things that we'll learn by traveling to space, and we need to make sure that as many people as possible can participate in that, and as many people as possible will benefit from it. I will go on record in saying I am predicting that's going to happen with space, but we're all going to have to get there together.
The human need to explore is deep within all of us. Our ancestors crossed mountain ranges, sailed open oceans to map new lands, and sought out the unknown while always looking to the stars. We're curious, and now we're at a place where we can pioneer new horizons. Because Earth, this blue planet, and all its beauty is just our starting place.
It's time to
Five,
go again.
4, Amanda, start. 2, 1.
And lift off.
5,000 feet and climbing.
This is incredible.
Now is the time to open the promise of space to all and lay the way for generations to come. When our descendants look to the stars, perhaps from a rocky moon or colonies floating in open space, they'll remember this time. When they reflect on where it started, they'll remember this place. And when they honor those first explorers who said, "Let's go," they'll remember these bold steps. We are of blue origin. And this is just the beginning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jackie Cortez, joined today by my co-anchor, Laura Stiles. Before we get going, it's with an incredibly heavy heart that we say goodbye to second human flight astronaut, entrepreneur, humanitarian, and truly force for good in every possible way, Glenn DeVries, who tragically lost his life in a plane crash last month. As you saw in the video, one of the reasons why Glenn wanted to go to space was to use his journey as a way to improve life on Earth. He wanted to pay forward his experience and inspire the world, and it's in that spirit and in his honor that we dedicate today's launch to Glenn.
Yeah, that's right, Jackie, and hello, everybody. Losing Glenn is such a tragedy. He really made a significant impact on all of us here at Team Blue, and we're never going to forget his vibrant energy, his passion for space, and his legacy is certainly going to live on. On today's flight, we draw a straight line back to another astronaut with an incredible legacy, the original American astronaut, the person who arguably got all of this started, Alan Shepard. His daughter, Laura Shepard Churchley, will step aboard the rocket named after her father and go to space today.
Talk about a very incredible family lineage there. Laura will share the capsule with 4 customers today, Dylan Taylor, Evan Dick, and the first parent-child pair to fly to space together, Lane Bess and Cameron Bess, good-looking crew on the screen there.
Yes, rounding out today's crew is Good Morning America and Fox Sports co-anchor Michael Strahan. It is a full capsule, it is a full day, so let's get started. So as you might have heard, our launch moved a couple of days. We had some high winds, so out of an abundance of caution, we went ahead and pushed for 2 days, but here we are.
Yes, and safety is, of course, our main priority for every New Shepard mission, and we are happy to report that the weather today is looking great for launch, so here we go. Earlier this morning, our astronauts arrived at the Astronaut Training Center down here in West Texas. Today is the first flight, it's a very big deal, where every seat, all 6, will be occupied, but thankfully on New Shepard, each seat is a window seat.
That's right, and there they are pulling up this morning.
A lot of excitement and energy from the crew, even at the early hours of the morning here.
Even when it's dark out still,
Yes.
So every flight for New Shepard is a step toward our mission of building a road to space. These 6 people will become number 602, 603, 4, 5, 6, and 7 to fly above the Kármán line, the internationally recognized boundary of space.
That's right, and just considering that for a moment, of the over 107 billion people that have walked on Earth, just over 600 have ever been to space, and at Blue Origin, we certainly aim to grow that number quickly.
Exactly, so already in 2021, we've flown 8 people to space on the same New Shepard rocket that we have sitting out there on the launch pad right now, and after today, that'll be 14. So, Jackie, next year, we expect to fly many more. Here at Blue, we see every mission as an opportunity to inspire the next generation, and with Laura Shepard Churchley on board today, whose father inspired an entire generation to look out at the stars, we feel a responsibility to ensure we continue to make progress toward our long-term vision.
Right, and we're starting to see a common thread amongst everyone. We've had the absolute privilege of flying to space, and the common refrain among them is just how truly moving it is to see the Earth from that vantage point of space. It's a reminder that just a thin line of atmosphere stands between us and the vastness of space.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jackie, on the last mission, I was lucky enough to be out at the crew capsule
So
recovery
lucky.
landing
Very
site,
lucky.
I know, and standing nearby when William Shatner was just speaking, so eloquently, really truly from his heart about seeing Earth from space, and moments after he had touched down from the capsule. It was remarkable, it was a moving moment, and it was certainly one that I will never forget.
When you're up there, you see this beautiful, vulnerable, blue planet. Remember, it's just our origin. And you guys are here at the beginning.
Weightlessness. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
This is
Oh, wow. I can't believe this. No description can equal this. Everybody in the world needs to see. There is Mother and Earth and comfort, but what you see is black. What you have given me is the most profound experience I can imagine. I'm so filled with emotion about what just happened. It's extraordinary, extraordinary.
It's just such a perfect and such a poetic expression of the moment we all hope to experience one day, seeing Earth from space. And we've now heard from each of our astronauts just how special that moment is, seeing that thin line between our beautiful home and the blackness of space.
Exactly, and that's a big part of the answer to the question of why does all of this matter? It's an important reminder for us to look at the big picture, which is we need to protect our planet for the next generation. There's only one Earth and its resources are finite. So from the design of our vehicles to how we work with our communities when building, refurbishing, and expanding new facilities, this core value of preserving Earth is absolutely foundational to everything we do here at Blue. What we're doing today affects the next generation and the next generation beyond. And recently, we actually heard from some pretty smart kids to get their thoughts on the Earth and its future.
I like Earth because, well, Earth is Earth. It's the best planet.
There's everything you need.
Earth is perfect for us because it has enough water and it's got plants and trees.
Our atmosphere is the only one that has oxygen, enough for all of us to be able to breathe.
Humans, animals, grass.
It's just very peaceful.
Yeah, the air.
We don't have to wear a spacesuit.
You could try riding a bike in space, but you'd probably fail.
We need to save this planet because as far as we know, it's the only one we've got. Space might just be our future.
Earth is running out of energy, but space has limitless resources. We can use all those without impacting the environment here on Earth.
The sun is in space. What if we're just closer to that?
There's all this space in space to put solar panels.
We could harvest a lot of energy from the sun where there's more light coming.
I'm guessing like 10 million to power the whole entire world.
One day we'll put factories in space. Cars, phones,
paper, toilet paper, toilets,
clothes, shoes,
beds.
They all came from factories.
We can move everything that pollutes Earth into space.
It would still be possible to live on Earth, but we'd get most of our supplies from outer space.
The New Shepard rocket is reusable.
Launch, land, repeat. Launch, land, repeat.
It lands back on the ground and it doesn't get dumped into the ocean.
The only thing you need to every flight is the fuel.
Liquid oxygen.
Liquid oxygen and like liquid hydrogen. Those elements are basically water. Mix them together, they're water.
Rockets that use clean fuel, such as water, are way better for Earth. By going to space, we can help preserve the natural world by just, letting it take a break from humans.
Maybe instead of there being a junkyard, maybe there would be a playground.
Earth can have zoos and gardens and basically is a huge national park.
We should definitely keep Yellowstone National Park on Earth. We can't move geysers into space.
Anything can happen in space. Pluto. When my generation grows up, we're gonna use space to protect Earth. I'm very excited about the future.
Well, that video sort of says it all. These kids are more tuned into what's happening with the environment than we realize, which is a very good thing because the future is theirs. And let's discuss how New Shepard operates with the environment in mind. And I will say, luckily, we have an expert at the desk. Laura's been with the New Shepard program for over 8 years, and she's now senior manager for all of New Shepard operations. So Laura, can you tell us about how New Shepard was designed with the environment in mind?
Yeah, so Jackie, in just one word, reusability. So the entire New Shepard system has been designed for operational reusability and minimal maintenance between those flights from day one. So this is to decrease the cost of access to space and also to reduce waste. So regarding the vehicle itself, nearly 99% of New Shepard's dry mass is reused. So the propulsion module or the booster, the capsule, the engine, the parachutes, nearly everything except the propellants and some of the engine and other pyro igniters that we have on board. So in addition to that reusability, New Shepard's BE-3 PM engine is fueled by a highly efficient and clean liquid oxygen and hydrogen. And as we just heard from some of those kids
very
there,
smart kids.
the only byproduct there from New Shepard's engine combustion is the water vapor with no carbon emissions. So BE-3 engine for New Shepard is designated PM for the propulsion module, and that's because a different variant of that same engine is going to be used on the upper stage of the New Glenn orbital vehicle, so BE-3U. We're also going to use it on the lunar lander. And that's really, that's a very foundational thing about New Shepard program. All of the learnings from the suborbital program, like reusability, are going to flow into our other programs so we can get smarter, more efficient in everything that we're designing, building, and operating.
So yes, everything we're doing here at Blue is intentionally future focused. It's exciting things like, liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen can also be used for in situ resource utilization and exciting future things on the moon. So very future focused here. We understand it'll take time to realize our long-term vision of millions of people living and working in space, but we have to keep chipping away now. We can't afford not to. There's adequate resources in our solar system, both in terms of material resources and energy, to support trillions of humans. Once we can build a road to space, we can move that polluting industry into space, harvest resources, and relieve our planet of the environmental and resource stressors we're experiencing every day on Earth.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So it's a massive goal, and we're really just in the earliest days of observing this historic shift from how we're going to get people to space and from space, and it's all in service of making this beautiful planet that we live on healthy again and ensuring that that next generation has just as much or more. So with that, let's take a quick breather and check out New Shepard on the pad.
Thanks for joining us for our third human flight, featuring a full capsule today of 6 soon-to-be astronauts. And while we have a minute, let's get into what's been happening with Club for the Future, Blue Origin's nonprofit foundation.
Yeah, there's been so much incredible momentum since each of our 19 partner organizations received the $1 million grant from the Club for the Future, and that's all thanks to the $28 million donation for the sale of that first seat on New Shepard. So in aggregate, these organizations are collectively impacting tens of millions of students each year, and not just sparking their imagination, but materially impacting their education and ultimately driving their passion for space. So this is being accomplished in a couple different ways. There's immersive curriculum, access to experts, and even opportunities to fly their own payloads.
Right, and so much more. It amazes me everything Club has been accomplishing in such a short time. And today we'd like to highlight one of these partner organizations, the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation. Laura Shepard Churchley, who's on board the mission today, is chair of the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation Board of Trustees, which raises funds for college students and provides mentoring to scholars pursuing careers in research in STEM. Such important work. So let's take a look at what Laura and the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation are up to.
I'm Caroline Schumacher, president of the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation.
We were
were founded by astronauts. It was the 6th surviving Mercury 7, and it's evolved into the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation of today. We are here to select, identify, and award the best and brightest students in STEM.
The Astronaut Scholarship Foundation gives them money for their schooling, and they encourage them to go out and change the world.
I think STEM is just important in general because they're our future. They're studying everything from climate change to working on the James Webb Telescope to COVID vaccine research. They're in every facet of what is going to make a better world for everybody. We need to create a successful next generation to lead us into what's next, whether it's space exploration or medical advances. You know, whatever path they find, we need them to do that strong, good work.
Devin Colby.
A gift like this enables nonprofits to say, this really sets us up for success. So we're going to award 7 additional scholars every year for 7 years. The other pillar of what we do is we honor the legacy of our pioneering astronauts. And I can't think of a better way to honor them than by putting the funds towards more scholars.
So great to hear about what Laura and the team are doing at the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation. And I have to say, I do love that the foundation was founded by some of the original astronauts. Really special legacy there.
That's right, yes. So today's astronauts have made their own contribution to the club by creating their own postcards that are going to fly with them to space.
Well, it looks like we have some artists on board in addition to all the other impressive things about them.
Right, I look forward to reading those messages, words of encouragement there. This is a tradition that we continue on every human flight, giving each astronaut the chance to share some of their own words of inspiration for the next generation. And as you noted, this next generation is the one that's going to help us realize our long-term vision of millions living and working in space.
Couldn't agree more. And with that, let's set the stage for today's launch. Laura, there's a lot coming up here in just a few minutes. Can you take us through the astronaut movements?
Yeah, for sure. So currently the crew is over in the Astronaut Training Center. They're making their final preparations. Then around T-minus 54 minutes, crew member 7, Kevin Sprague, is going to oversee a special coin ceremony from inside the Astronaut Training Center. And as a reminder, crew member 7, responsible for all of the astronaut training and the flight safety. So why do we call them crew member 7, you might ask? In short, they are the 7th member of the astronaut crew. And in fact, today is the first time that that's technically accurate.
Numerically correct. Very exciting day
Love
today.
it. Because we have a full capsule, of course, of 6 astronauts. So here's a look at that special coin Kevin is going to present, and we'll fly with each astronaut today. You see a very special message there. You'll be known in history for taking a pioneering first step toward millions of people living and working in space to benefit Earth. Gradatum Ferociter. And on the back there, presented by crew member 7 for spaceflight on New Shepard.
It's an incredibly rare keepsake, and there is only one way to get them, and it's flying on New Shepard. Maybe Michael Strahan will put his coin next to his Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll rise to that level, hopefully. And by the way, you too can also fly on New Shepard. Visit blueorigin.com and click Fly to Space. We'd love to provide you with a once-in-a-lifetime experience with the super cool coin also included.
Cool coin, yes. All right, so once those coins have been presented, our crew will make their way out into the Rivian vehicles. They're going to stand by for the go for astronaut load.
Yes, and all of that will officially start at about T-minus 45 minutes. Crew member 7 will give the astronauts the go-ahead to travel out to the launch tower. Once we get that go, they'll travel to the rocket, which at that point is going to be fueled and nearly ready to head to space.
Yes, so once out at the launch pad, they'll stop for a brief photo at what they call the ring road, and this is just such a big moment for them to see New Shepard up close at the pad for the first time. So really want to capture that moment, and right after that, they are going to start to ascend the tower.
And soon after they climb the tower, they'll cross that bridge and enter the crew capsule waiting for them. At about T-minus 24 minutes, we close the hatch. Our capsule communicator will take over, and we move into the final countdown. And as those minutes tick down, we move towards the best part of the morning, launch. And once that crew capsule touches down, it's time to celebrate and hopefully hear some words from our crew about their unique experiences. And then we'll designate 6 new astronauts to the world by presenting each with their flight pin. So yes, there's quite a bit in store on this 3rd human flight. So with that, let's take a quick breather and toss it to the rocket on the pad. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're just about an hour away from launching our 3rd human crew to space and back. A full capsule today, every seat occupied of 6 soon-to-be astronauts. So let's take a closer look at who's on board today.
Yes, we have an incredible group on the rocket today, and for one of them, going to space is in her DNA. So Laura Shepard Churchley is in seat number 2. She's the eldest daughter of Alan Shepard, the first American in space, and also the 5th person in history to walk on the moon. So she'll be following in these very iconic footsteps on board the vehicle bearing his name.
Of course, and next flying in seat number 1 is Michael Strahan, 2-time Emmy winner, Peabody Award-winning journalist, Super Bowl champion, current co-anchor of ABC's Good Morning America and Fox NFL Sunday. Very illustrious resume there. It really is a privilege to give Michael this opportunity to experience space. So many kids around the world have looked up to him for so long. And what's very unique about Michael is that he just recently came around on wanting to experience space.
That's right. Next up, we have Dylan Taylor on the rocket today, seat number 3. Dylan is the chairman and CEO of Voyager Space and a very active pioneer in the space exploration industry. He's also the founder of the global nonprofit Space for Humanity, which seeks to democratize access to space. So Dylan recently announced Buy One, Give One, which is simply to donate to worthy causes here on Earth the equivalent of a ticket price for spaceflight, which is exactly what he's doing as part of his flight today.
What an amazing initiative. And next up in seat number 6 is engineer, investor, ATP-rated pilot, and philanthropist Evan Dick. As part of Starfighters Aerospace, Evan is no stranger to badass flight vehicles, similar to my co-anchor, who is a professional skydiver. But Starfighters operates the world's only fleet of flight-ready F-104 supersonic aircraft. You see Evan flying one, looking very relaxed, and I certainly wouldn't look so relaxed,
Yeah,
but he looks great. He's built for this.
He is built for this, absolutely. Yes. All right, then rounding out today's crew is a historic tandem in seats 4 and 5, the first ever parent-child duo to go to space together, Lane Bess and his child Cameron. And just how cool is this? I would love to go to space with my dad. So Lane, the principal and founder of Best Ventures and Advisory. Prior to that, he built notable cybersecurity firms, Scalar and Palo Alto Networks. Lane also serves as a member of the Carnegie Mellon University's Board of Trustees.
Go Tartans. Had to. Wasn't supposed to, but had to. Next up, Cameron Bess is a multi-platform content creator with a passion for creating and expressing themselves in ways that can brighten a person's day. They've dreamed of experiencing zero-G since launching model rockets as a child with their dad, and that dream incredibly is coming true for both of them in about an hour. So there they are, today's crew, a crew that has very fittingly named itself the Original 6. We're very excited for each of them, and we're also really excited to hear their stories once that capsule touches down. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit more about Laura Shepard Churchley.
Yeah, so Laura has spent her life extending her father's legacy in her role as the chair of the Astronaut Scholarship Foundation Board of Trustees, where she raises funds for college students and provides mentoring to scholars pursuing careers and research in STEM. So the foundation was created back in 1984 by the original Mercury 7, which of course included her father, Alan. So here's some perspective from the woman herself, Laura Shepard Churchley.
I've always loved space. Daddy used to take us out at night to look at the stars. We'd lay down in the cool grass and look up. I'm Laura Shepard Churchley. I'm the daughter of astronaut Alan Shepard. One day, he said, Laura, come out with me to the end of the driveway. I want you to help me find something in the sky. And sure enough, we saw it. I saw it first. It was Russian, they had a vehicle in space. And then Daddy announced to me, I'm going to be working for NASA. I'm going to be an astronaut. Astronaut? Astronaut's not even in my dictionary, Daddy. What is an astronaut? NASA's going to put me into a spacecraft on top of a rocket. The rocket is going to blast me up into space, and I will come back to Earth safely. And I said, okay, have a good trip, Daddy. I'm really interested in all the things that space travel has brought to the world. And so I'm really excited to be going on a Blue Origin flight. And I'm very proud of my father's legacy. He was the first American in space and the 5th man on the moon. And he so far has been the only man to play golf on the moon. I believe he would say the same thing as my children. Go for it, Laura. I just want to see space closer up. Daddy only had a little portal. He didn't have the windows that we're going to have. I can't wait for the parachutes to open, to have that rush and then just stop and then settle down. I just can't wait for that. Every night I go out, look at the moon, say hi to Daddy. It's kind of fun for me to say that an original Shepard will fly on the New Shepard.
I just love that an original Shepard will fly on New Shepard. That's great. It's so cool to see Laura down there at the U.S. Astronaut Hall of Fame at Kennedy Space Center down in Florida, a place where Alan Shepard is, of course, very well represented. And one thing we're thrilled to provide Laura with today, much more volume in the capsule and much bigger windows than her dad had in the Freedom 7. So pretty clear from this graphic, Laura Shepard Churchley's ride will be significantly roomier and more comfortable than her father's.
That's right. What an amazing, stark graphic. With that, let's take a quick breather and check out New Shepard on the pad, readying for today's 3rd human flight. Welcome back. It does look like we've entered a brief hold here, but at this moment, our astronauts are with crew member 7, receiving those special coins we talked about earlier, which is very exciting for them.
That's right. So we are standing by for the go for astronaut load, and we will just stand by until we hear that. All right. right, so Jackie, you mentioned the coin ceremony should be going on shortly. That coin is a unique and well-earned keepsake for each of the crew that flies with them to space today. So each astronaut is also allowed to bring a few personal things on board. So last flight, William Shatner took a teddy bear with him, and he's going to one day present it to his grandson.
So sweet.
So sweet, yes. On today's flight, Dylan's friend designed a mission patch to fly with Dylan today.
Very unique design there. Astronaut Cameron is taking a pansexual pride flag to space.
Yeah, what a special way, very unique way to highlight the LGBTQ+ community. Evan is flying with his great-grandfather's pocket watch.
Wow, that's a very iconic family heirloom there. Lane is taking he and his wife Letty's wedding rings. And I just love that picture of Lane. I'm sure Letty is watching,
So
loving
sweet.
it.
Yes, and Laura has Alan Shepard's Naval Academy ring. Now, this ring has flown to space twice already, on Freedom 7 and then also on Apollo 14. So yes, that ring has been to the moon.
I think it's safe to say that's the most well-traveled ring in the history of rings. And here we have, of course, Michael Strahan. He's taken his very recently retired New York Giants jersey, number 92, with him to space today. It's really pretty great to see that the crew is able to make this big experience a little bit more intimate, a little bit more personal. So we are still in a brief hold here. So let's pause and toss it to the rocket. All right, welcome back. We are still in a brief hold here while our control room makes sure all systems and weather are aligned for today's mission. We just anticipate this will take a couple of minutes. Stand by for more. All right, welcome back. Thank you all for joining us for today's third human flight. As you can see, the hold has just lifted. The countdown is back on. Laura, can you tell us about what's happening in mission control at this point when we're preparing for the mission?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we're waiting for the go for astronaut load, and that go will happen right after a go poll. So go polls are very critical moments in the launch countdown when the flight director will poll the whole team for their readiness to proceed past one of these major gates. So during the day today, we've already had a go for rollout. We had a go poll before we did propellant load. We're now waiting for the go for astronaut load, one more for escape enabled, and then finally the best one, the go for terminal count and launch. So in this moment, we should be doing some bit checks on some of the capsule subsystems. So engineers in the back room are looking at their data. They're going to pass up their readiness to the lead of the engineering back room, who is the voice of all of these subsystems. So in the front room, we call it, here we see it there, the flight controllers for their two vehicles, the capsule and the booster, and also the ground system, the INCO with the comm systems, safety range. A few others are going to confirm that they too are ready to proceed. And then the flight director will announce we are go, and at that moment, we get that much closer to launch.
Thank you for that behind the scenes walkthrough. That was awesome. I haven't gotten to sit in mission control, but I feel like I am right now. So with that, let's take a quick breather and check out New Shepard on the pad, readying for today's flight. And there they go, our crew emerging from the Astronaut Training Center, looking great in their Blue Origin flight suits. The gentleman you see there in the black flight suit, that's Kevin, our crew member 7, who is the other half of Capsule Communicator. So Kevin and our Capsule Communicator, Sarah Knights, work hand in hand together. We'll see Sarah on, oh, there she is. There's Sarah on the console. We'll be hearing a lot more from her later in the show as she'll be communicating with the astronauts once they're on board the capsule and all the way through their flight. So at this point in the mission, our astronauts are loaded into the Rivians, and we're just waiting for that go for astronaut load call. Getting good thumbs up from the crew, looking excited and ready for today's mission.
Jackie, it's so exciting to see 6 people. This really is a big moment for the New Shepard program.
Absolutely. As you likely recall, our first and second human flights each had 4 passengers. Today is our first with 6. Very exciting. As we await that go for astronaut load call, a reminder, Blue Origin is growing very fast. We have offices and factories in Seattle, Washington, Cape Canaveral, Florida, right here in West Texas, which you're seeing live on the screen, Huntsville, Alabama, my home, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles. Across our facilities, the team at Blue is working on many groundbreaking programs, including exciting new ones like our Orbital Reef Commercial Space Station that we're really excited about.
Yeah, we had some big news about Orbital Reef recently, right?
Yep, that's right. And actually, as you can see in the car with our astronauts, our founder, Jeff Bezos, 5-star Uber driver. 5-star Rivian Uber driver there. Again, while we're waiting for that go for astronaut load, which will signal the start of the Rivians onto the road to space, in case you missed it, just the other day, NASA did select Orbital Reef, our commercial space station, for phase 1 of its commercial low Earth orbit destinations program. We're absolutely thrilled to be working alongside NASA and our partner, Sierra Space, to mature this really critical capability. Big initiatives do require the best and the brightest. So come join us, come join Laura and I, and come solve some of the most interesting challenges as we build the road to space. So you can check out our website, our careers page for more details. We have openings nationwide. And we'll pause here for a moment, check in on our Rivians while we wait the start of the drive past mission control and out on the road to space.
They say one of the best is from the village, astronaut village. It's totally different. I strongly prefer this. It's just so much closer. The astronaut village is about 7 miles away, so you still see the plane, but it's just not really as loud, powerful. It's so huge, you know.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us for today's third human flight, our crew of 6 are seated in their Rivians with their driver, our founder, Jeff Bezos. They're just awaiting that go for astronaut load call, and that will allow them to start their way out on the road to space. A lot of excitement coming up for this crew, seeing a lot of smiles through the windows, which is a very good sign for today's flight.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a lot coming up in the next 45 minutes, pretty jam-packed between what mission control is doing, what the astronauts are doing, what the tower crew is going to be doing. Definitely feeling the excitement in this moment.
Absolutely. Let's check back in on the Rivians as we wait for them to start heading out to the road. And there they go, Laura Shepard Churchley, Michael Strahan, Dylan Taylor, Evan Dick, and the first ever parent-child duo to fly to space together, Lane and Cameron Bess. They just received go for astronaut load-in, and their journey begins. Follow along on the screen at the bottom. We're hearing a lot of excited fans on the road to space today.
Oh my gosh, yes, and lots of support there from friends, family. So much excitement from the crowd. So once they pass the porch at Mission Control, they're gonna head down the road to space and the launch pad. It's getting very real.
They're on their way. From training to Rivian to launch and landing, flying on New Shepard is truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and if you'd like to go on that journey yourself, visit BlueOrigin.com and click Fly to Space.
Right, we're going to be coming up on Mission Control shortly. We see a lot of the support crew standing by there, giving their cheers and waves. So here as we come up on Mission Control, we're going to have a lot of Team Blue. We'll have folks out on the porch there. Capcom, we've got
Capcom, Sarah Nice, wearing the same black flight suit as her other half, crew member 7, Kevin Sprague, who's on board the Rivians with today's crew.
Yeah, it'll be just about 20 minutes or so until they hand over from crew member 7 to Capcom, so nice to get a little personal wave there as they send them along. And there's our recovery crews. So the capsule recovery team is standing by. We also have our booster recovery team that's staged, and they hang out here at fallback. We call it fallback 3, so it's essentially as close as you can get to the rocket during the launch itself, so that they are staged and ready to go as soon as the parachutes come out.
Well, and I have to say, I know that's where you would be, Laura, if you weren't here with me, so I appreciate you being here with me today. And our astronauts have made that big turn, from Mission Control onto the road to space. This is a huge moment because they're seeing their live rocket waiting to take them to space for the first time. Behind the Rivians right there, you do see our barn where our New Shepard booster, our other New Shepard booster, we have one on the launch pad and one in the barn today.
What a beautiful shot this morning. Sunrise just happened a little bit ago. You can see some nice shadows on the mountains. It really is gorgeous out here in West Texas.
It's going to be great lighting for their ring road photo, which is coming up here soon.
All right, we've reached the perimeter of the launch pad, the ring road. So they are going to head to the north side of the pad here and stage for that photo. Like Jackie mentioned, this is the first time they're seeing this booster up close and hearing it. Right, it's not just about this view, it's about the sounds as well. So as soon as they get out of their Rivians and they're standing there, they're going to start to hear various things. They might hear a little bit of venting from the propellant tanks, some valves clicking, the helium purges. The navigation system has a beautiful little hum. This rocket is very much alive right now.
coming from someone who's experienced it firsthand. That's great. Here our crew is getting out of those Rivians. They're about to get staged for the ring road photo with their rocket. Because if you didn't take a photo with your rocket, you didn't go to space.
You didn't go to space.
And they're in very good hands with our amazing photographer, Felix. And like Laura said earlier, it's so amazing to see a full crew of 6 today, the original 6, accompanied by, of course, their crew member 7.
Okay, this is one of my favorites. You gotta see what everybody's special pose. Been practicing those rocket poses there.
I'm encouraged by this high energy crew. This is looking great.
Even running back to the
Laura
Rivian
is
there.
running back to the Rivian. I love that. Our crew is gonna get back into the Rivians for the last time before they get into the New Shepard crew capsule. Our crew is coming up here on the launch tower. Next up, as you guys can anticipate, the crew is gonna get out of those Rivians, and crew member 7, Kevin Sprague, is gonna help walk our crew up that launch tower. I remember the first time I ever climbed up the launch tower. It is much higher than I think it looks in the camera, but since we have such a high energy crew, I'm sure they're gonna be up there in no time. Laura, I know you've seen some of the astronaut training process. Can you give us a little more color on how crew member 7 there in the black flight suit is shepherding this journey for the crew?
Sure, Jackie. So crew member 7, as noted before, really is the 7th member of this crew. So they're with the astronauts from when they arrive down here in West Texas until they're safely in their seats, which is now just moments away. And that hatch is closed. And then after the flight, they again are there to meet them just moments after touchdown. So during the day's pre-launch, crew member 7 is responsible for providing the training for nominal launch day, as well as how the astronauts would stay safe if anything off nominal happened. So the astronauts have learned a bit about the New Shepard subsystems. They've used a training capsule to practice things like ingress and securing their harnesses, and learned about how to maneuver in zero gravity.
As best they can here on Earth, right?
As best you can on Earth, that's right. So yeah, by time these future astronauts have spent their pre-launch days in this training, they will have a lot of confidence, and we will have a lot of confidence that they will be safe and ready to have just the ride of their lives.
We certainly have a very prepared crew that's also in great hands with Kevin and Sarah. If you're looking at the top of the launch tower right now, that's the next stop on our crew's path to the capsule. That's the safety shelter on top of the ascent tower here. And Felix getting some great shots of them as they head into the shelter. The crew is gonna stand by in the shelter and await that ingress across the bridge, then the gantry into the crew capsule. Our crew is looking great right now. They're looking very ready to fly. That might be record time. Getting off the
oh my
launch
gosh,
tower.
look. Several thumbs up. Definitely some excitement here. Yeah, so you saw them there just a second ago taking the booties off their shoes, and this is because we want to keep as clean, pristine of an environment inside the crew capsule as possible. Obviously, it's a little bit dusty here in West Texas. So now they are essentially all prepped in their flight suits and their flight shoes and ready to go.
With their special guest, of course, our founder, Jeff Bezos, in the security safety shelter with them. Very excited. You know, last time he was up there, we were worried he was going to try and go with the
Right.
second human flight crew, but all 6 seats are full today, so that's not going to be an option. Our crew is in the safety shelter, and at this point, crew member 7 is working with the tower crew and mission control as we wait that go for them to head across into the crew capsule. So Laura, what are some of these final checkouts prior to bringing the crew on board?
Yeah, right. So right now we're in essentially a great staging place in that safety shelter, so we can sync up all of the different things that are happening between mission control, which is some work with the RF systems, the nav systems. All right, and I think we are moving from the shelter. There we go.
Here we go, 6 to 1. Purpose, ring the bell. We're going to space. All right, ready? Yes. 7. Cameron.
All right, so it appears the ingress has officially begun.
Those were some enthusiastic bell rings right there. I love that.
They were indeed. So heading across the bridge now on their way to the crew capsule, and you might have seen there in that last shot the sign up on the launch tower, "Light this candle," which is a tribute, of course, to Alan Shepard's famous words just prior to his Freedom 7 launch back in 1961.
I love how special that is for Laura Shepard Churchley to see those iconic words. Our crew is about to be entering, sitting in their seats in the crew capsule. And of course, you know, getting those photos, those last minute shots. For me, it would be like wedding photos where people constantly are posting them and you're like, when's it gonna end? I would be posting
Never
from my space flight for years to come. So very exciting. You good? As you can see, our crew is entering that capsule in descending order. Evan Dick in seat number 6, Cameron Bess in seat number 5, Lane Bess in seat number 4, Dylan Taylor in seat number 3, Laura Shepard Churchley in seat number 2, and Michael Strahan in seat number 1. And in fact, while they're getting situated in the crew capsule, let's take a closer look at today's third human flight crew, fittingly dubbed again the Original 6.
The moment that I decided that I would be willing to go was here.
You can see Jeff Bezos realize the dream he's had since a child.
Watching Jeff and Mark Bezos completely changed my mind. It was amazing, and I had never experienced anything like that.
My father was the first American in space, Alan Shepard, and I kind of feel a little bit like I'm following in my father's footsteps.
I was attracted to it from a very, very young age, a lifelong dream to actually go to space. I'm a big believer in the power of space to transform.
I've wanted to spend my entire career in aerospace, and I didn't get the opportunity to do that. So now I'm just late in my life getting the opportunity to be a part of it.
When it became real, I went to the family. I said, who wants to go? And the only person that raised their hand was Cameron. We weren't thinking so much about it being first father and child as much as the opportunity to experience it together.
I just want to see the Earth from that perspective and understand how small of a part we are of something so large.
I'm doing this because I think the pioneering nature of this is important. We need people who are going to actually demonstrate the way forward, because I think it's a necessary step in the next evolution for humanity.
It's certainly an honor to be one of the first LGBTQ+ people in space. You know, I'm no hero. I didn't really work to go to space, but I do think that the visibility that I'm providing for that community is valuable.
I'm very excited and incredibly grateful to be going up into space.
Part of me wants to go because it's something I thought I would never want to do.
I just feel like he's right here with me. And I can't be more excited than I've ever been in my whole life.
Wow, I mean, that video gave me goosebumps. It's such, clearly, I mean, evident from the video, it's such a unique shared experience for the crew. The bonds they form down here in West Texas will last a lifetime. I know Dylan tweeted the other day, they have great crew glue. They're an awesome crew, really tight. And at this point, they're in each of their seats, and Kevin, our crew member 7, is helping them into the capsule. He's getting them situated into their seats. We can see all the smiling astronauts through these big windows. Laura, what exactly is Kevin doing right now? What are these final touches before hatch closure?
Yeah, so right now they're going through a very critical set of steps. So for the astronauts, crew member 7 is helping them perform a final seat verification. They're ensuring the harnesses are fitted and secured. All while the astronauts pretty soon will start their comm checks with Capcom back in Mission Control. And over in Mission Control, they're doing a few other things. They're doing bits on the ECLA system, so Environmental Control and Life Support System. So busy in Mission Control, as well as down at out there also at the tower. We have our tower crew, a few more members of the launch crew that are performing the final vehicle closeouts. So when 7 and the tower crew and Mission Control are all ready, they will move into closure of the hatch, as well as checking the integrity of the seal on that hatch.
A lot going on right now in these final moments before hatch closure. Getting some great shots here from the camera crew. Just saw Laura Shepard Churchley looking very comfortable, very excited in her seat. There we see Evan Best through the window. Great shot right there. Cameron Best and Evan Dick, there we see them. And another important thing we're able to see through the windows right now here is that escape motor right in the center of the RSS First Step capsule. Laura, can you tell us a little bit more about that escape motor?
Yeah, so like you said, the escape motor, you can see it in the center there. It's a solid rocket motor, and that would be used in the case of an emergency. It's a pusher system, so essentially the capsule can push away from the booster if something were to happen with the booster. And one of the really important things about our escape system is we call it a full envelope escape. So essentially, in just a few moments here, in about 10 minutes, the capsule will go escape enabled, and it will have that capability all the way from on the pad up until the moment of separation.
RSS first step. Let's get started with the comm check. Astronaut Stray, how do you read me?
Stray is good. Loud and clear.
Copy. Astronaut Weezer. Copy. Astronaut Taylor, how do you read me? Copy. Astronaut Bess, how do you read?
Bess is fantastic.
Copy. Astronaut Meets, how do you read? Copy. Astronaut Dick, how do you read?
Loud and clear.
Copy all. All right, astronauts, we are at T-minus 24 minutes and counting. As we proceed, I'll do my best to keep you updated. For now, just sit back and relax.
Thank you for joining us for our third human flight. You just heard a great comms check with our capsule communicator, Sarah Knight, and our full crew of 6 astronauts, Laura Shepard-Churchley, Dylan Taylor, Evan Dick, Lane Bess, Cameron Bess, and the one and only Michael Strahan. It's so fun to say 6 names. It's a lot more. And they're all loaded into the RSS First Step, awaiting their life-changing flight to space and back.
Yeah, and just one thing you mentioned there, Jackie, RSS. So RSS First Step, our vehicle, that RSS means reusable spaceship. So this capsule itself has already gone to space 4 times. This will be its 5th flight today. And reusability, like RSS, that's a pretty new terminology, you know, in the aerospace world for rockets. But reusability is an underlying philosophy here at Blue. It's fundamental to ultimately reducing the cost of access to space. So right now, each of the New Shepard vehicles can fly up to 25 times with minimal refurbishment in between those flights, and soon we hope that that number is closer to 100.
It always amazes me, the robustness of the New Shepard system. We're currently awaiting closure of that hatch on the RSS First Step.
All right, and there is our founder. It's official. Their hatch is closed. So let's toss it over to Capcom.
Control, as you can see, the hatch is closed. We're now going to check to make sure it's sealed up nice and tight.
I bet you a couple of watches are probably you are right now.
Slightly to seat O-ring. Push in plunger. Rotate clockwise. 3 or 4 turns. Push in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open manual tank isolation valve. Opening. Open. Ready for leak check.
Welcome back. We're just under T-minus 20 minutes until launch. Laura, the hatch is closed. Tower crew is running their final closeouts before they get off the tower. In addition to the 6 flying on board today, our amazing original 6, the spirit of another legendary explorer is going up as well in today's rocket.
That's right. So a one-of-a-kind pendant paying tribute to Star Trek's Leonard Nimoy will be on board. So this represents a message that he strongly believed in for each of us to live a long and healthy life with a vision of peace, tolerance, and unity. So a special thank you to his daughter, Julie Nimoy, for the pendant and for sharing his inspiring words.
Such a special Star Trek story here.
Right, we had Captain Kirk, and now we have Mr. Spock. I just love it.
That's right, and I actually also love Leonard Nimoy and maybe a lesser-known science fiction show, Fringe, Dr. William Bell, so any Fringe fans out there, we love Leonard Nimoy.
All right, let's take a quick breather, and when we come back, we are gonna have a very special message for our crew from Capcom Sarah Knights.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us for third human flight, our original 6, our 6 astronauts are on board. The hatch is closed, and we're just awaiting that special message from our Capcom Sarah Knights, our capsule communicator. So stand by.
All right, so we entered a brief hold here. We have the tower crew and crew member 7 that are just closing out the last of their procedures. So tower crew, they've done a number of important things here in the last moment up on the vehicle itself. So they've installed the last of the thermal control system. They've pulled some of the RBFs, or removed before flight, from the ECLA system that we talked about. The hatch is closed, sealed. They're taking out the final pins for the escape system, and it will be pretty soon that they are done up there on the tower and will be heading to their fallback location.
First up, Blue Control. As you heard, your crew member 7 and tower will be departing shortly. You'll see them cleaning up and eventually descending the stairs. While we're waiting, I have a note from you from our previous New Shepard crew. I'll begin with a message from William Shatner. Dear fellow half-astronauts, you're in great hands today, and only wonderful things will happen. You've survived the biggest test of all, 11 flights of stairs up the gantry at 4,000 feet altitude. I don't know about you, but I was exhausted for the rest of the trip. Good luck, but you don't need it. Fondly, Bill Shatner. This is from Chris Bosshausen. Dear New Shepard 19 crew, congratulations on joining the small but growing community of humans who have journeyed beyond the Kármán line, who've seen the deep of space and the brilliance of Earth from that unique vantage point. The flight will be over before you know it, but the impact will be with you for the rest of your life. Don't forget to take a moment and really look, and bring back one favorite thing to share with the rest of us, waiting breathlessly for you and your safe return. Safe travels, my friends. Astronaut Crispy. This is from Leah, Glenn DeVries' partner. Dear astronauts, you have all dreamed of sitting in this seat, and it marks only the beginning of a profound new chapter. This journey's impact stretches far beyond the timeline of this mission. When Glenn fulfilled his lifelong dream of traveling to space, he came back with a new appreciation for our planet. I hope when you arrive home, you too will take this experience and curiosity to help solve the problems here on Earth. Quote, through new innovation, new technology, and a new outlook on the unity of the planet, together we can build a future. Glenn. We love you to space and back. Safe travels, team. Leah. And finally, from Audrey Powers. In spite of my best efforts, I was unable to get any of you to trade places today. So, I'll be in the next best place, watching you with great excitement from just down the road with Blue Origin team who makes these flights possible. I wish everyone could experience what you're about to, and I'll simply say, in honor of my good friend Glenn DeVries, who lived every moment to the fullest, stay in this moment. Hold on to it after you land for as long as you can, and then share it. Share it far and wide. I wish you Godspeed, New Shepard 19, and it's my great honor to welcome you to the Blue Origin family. Astronaut Audrey Powers. I want to thank the Snake Bites and the Anti-Venom for their messages today. And for now, sit back and relax, Original 6, and I'll keep you updated as we move forward.
What special and amazing messages. And actually, Chris and Leah, and of course, Audrey Powers, are all here with us in West Texas. So I think that makes this mission 10 times more special.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so amazing to hear those words. And it's becoming a sort of tradition here at Blue, and really nice to see that community of Blue Origin astronauts starting to take shape and growing launch by launch.
Yeah, the camaraderie across crews is really, it's been amazing. We're going to be out of this hold here very shortly, so with that, let's stand by. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, our crew of 6 are on board New Shepard. The hatch is closed and we've cleared that hold. I've also just heard from Mission Control that New Shepard is officially escape enabled. If you're following along on the bottom of your screen, Laura, what is the significance of this moment?
Yeah, this is a very important moment in Mission Control, and as a former capsule controller, certainly one of my favorite moments of the whole mission. So they have just done a go poll. The flight director would have polled all of the relevant positions that need to be ready for escape enabled. We've gone through the bits. Essentially, the capsule at this point is ready to fly. And we mentioned before, we have this capability, the escape capability, essentially from now until separation. So the whole time, if anything were to happen to the booster, the capsule can safely make its way into the landing zone.
Very exciting. So many go polls. Again, that was the go poll for escape enabled. We're just currently awaiting that go, no go polling for launch. With that, let's toss it to the rocket while we stand by for mission control. Thanks for joining, everyone. We're just waiting for that go, no go poll, so let's listen in.
Copy. Break. We are no go on the dashboard. Stand by for status.
Thanks for joining us for our third human flight. As a reminder, in case anyone forgot, we have a crew of 6 on board. Laura Shepard-Churchley, Dylan Taylor,
Capsule.
Evan Dick.
Go. Booster. Go. Ground. Go. Safety. Capcom. Engineering. Go. This is the flight director. New Shepard is go for launch. Booster, commence the terminal count. Look a flight.
As you have just heard, we are go for launch for our third human flight. We are so excited for this crew. Let's just take a quick moment and take in the sights and sounds from Launch Site 1 down here in West Texas. We are just about T-minus 8 minutes and 30 seconds until liftoff. Okay, we are just under T-minus 8 minutes until our third human flight. We have Laura Shepard-Churchley, Michael Strahan, Dylan Taylor, Evan Dick, and the first ever parent-child duo to fly to space together, Lane and Cameron Best. They are on the capsule. They're harnessed in. The hatch is closed. I'm so excited for this crew. Laura, can you give us a little insight into today's flight profile?
Yes, absolutely. We're getting very close to this. I'm going to start us at T-minus 2.5 minutes. So that's when we enter into auto sequence, and the flight controllers at that point are essentially hands off. So we'll have the engine ignition at T0, followed by a throttle up, and then the liftoff actually occurs at T+7 seconds. So then just 1 minute after that liftoff, we will hit max Q, so that's the maximum dynamic pressure, and the stresses, the aerodynamic stresses are the highest on the vehicle at that point. Then a bit after 2 minutes, we'll have main engine cutoff, or MECO, and at that point, everybody is in zero gravity, essentially, free floating, and very soon after that, the separation of the capsule from the booster. So those vehicles will head up toward their apogee, and we'll follow the booster down because it is going to re-enter more quickly. So as we re-enter, we'll get the forward wedge fins that deploy. The aft fins are steering the vehicle back down to the landing pad, which is only about 2 miles away from the launch pad. Then we have our drag brakes deploy. The engine will restart. We'll hover over the landing pad, and then we will have booster touchdown. So back to the capsule, which is re-entering slower due to its blunt shape. The rocket itself is much more aerodynamic. So the capsule, after the booster has landed, the first thing visually that we are going to see on the video is those drogues deploying. So the drogues come out, they slow down the capsule just enough so that the mains can deploy. They'll deploy in a reefed configuration, and just a few seconds later, they will disreef and open up to their full surface area. At that point, the landing systems are going to engage, so we'll be measuring the height off from the ground. And just as we are above the ground, we will fire our terminal decelerator system. You'll see a poof of dust from those retro thrusters, and we will have capsule touchdown.
Yep, and those retro thrusters do kick up some dust, but they allow for a very soft landing for our crew. All right, we're just under T-minus 5 minutes until liftoff of third human flight. Things are getting real for our 6 astronauts on top of that live rocket. Laura, what's happening in mission control? We're under 5 minutes away.
Yeah, so just a moment ago, as we heard, the flight director will have conducted that final go poll, the go for terminal count and launch. And I can tell you, like, I can feel the energy all the way from over here. It's just in mission control at this time, like really you could hear a pin drop. Just the team is amazing. They've trained for this, and here they are in the moment. So the capsule controller will have already completed the preparations, essentially ready to fly as they sit there right now in ready to escape mode. The booster controller is still fairly busy though. So some of the things that booster is doing, switching to internal power, doing a final alignment of the navigation systems, arming the engine igniters. Then we have our ground controller who's monitoring the winds and weather, the propellant systems, the ground side of the propellant systems, the rest of the ground support equipment. We have Inco monitoring the RF systems, and this is all while all of the folks that we have in our engineering back room are monitoring all the important vehicle status, things like propellant conditioning. So in just a moment, we will watch the rocket go through its bit checks when we hit auto sequence. So those are the built-in tests, and some of the things that are happening there are invisible to our eyes, but some of them we'll actually get to see the actuated components moving around.
So much going on with just minutes left to lift off. We're actually under 4 minutes, just about T-minus 3 minutes until launch. We understand from Capsule Communicator all 6 astronauts are ready to go. Let's watch and listen as New Shepard is about to go through those final checks that Laura just mentioned and rev up for 3rd human flight.
Okay, we are in our auto sequence. As you can see here, the bridge is retracting to its flight configuration. At this time, we're also going to be pressurizing the tanks. And of course, our crew is seeing, hearing, and feeling all of this on board the capsule. Yes, absolutely. There's Michael Strahan on the left, looking great. I think a smile. I see a smile, yeah. So we should have our bit checks that'll be coming up next. All right, there we go with the aft fins. So those aft fins down here at the base of the rocket, they help to direct the vehicle on ascent and descent. So commanding a profile there and making sure that it's tracking. Lucky. We can also see the engine nozzle here gimbaling. The engine will help to maneuver the rocket as well, especially right there before landing. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 30 seconds. It is time to launch this rocket. Godspeed, New Shepard. Godspeed, the original 6. Thank you so much for joining us.
Seconds, guidance internal. 2 minutes 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, command engine start, 2, 1,
Shepard has cleared the tower and is on its way to space. We can hear it here from the desk. If you're following along with us, you can see on the lower left side of your screen that we're gaining speed as New Shepard lifts off towards space with a full capsule of 6 humans for for the very first time. Noticing that altitude bar also on the bottom of screen, we are climbing fast. We've punched through max Q. That is the point where the aerodynamic stress on the New Shepard booster is at its maximum. Our original 6 are getting the ride of their lives right now. Look at that beautiful BE3 engine in action. Coming up next here in under a minute is going to be main engine cutoff, where we cut off that BE3, and you'll be able to visually see that on the screen here shortly. And there we see it, main engine cutoff of the BE3.
We see the CCRCS thrusters firing, and we have confirmed separation. All right, so capsule booster separated. Capcom Serenites will momentarily cue the astronauts to unbuckle their harnesses and start floating around the capsule.
They are in 0G, they've practiced for this, and now it's really happening.
Doing this, guys. Oh, check this out. Oh my God. Oh my God. I got a ball here. Oh. Never seen anything like this. I got my shot. Mission 19. All right. Yeah. There you go. Coming back this way. Make sure you know where your seat is. Mission 19. The original set. The original set. You got your seat.
1 minute warning. 1 minute warning.
Well, huge congratulations to all 6 crew. They have crossed that Kármán line and they became official astronauts. Outstanding. As you can see, we have 2 distinct vehicles in the screen now. Both the crew capsule and the booster are descending. It was so amazing to hear from such an excited crew.
I just love hearing their real reactions, real time. It is just awesome.
That energy walking up the tower definitely translated into space. As you can see, the forward fins on the New Shepard booster have deployed. That booster is on its way back to Earth first.
So those fins, when they deploy, they help to shift that center of pressure so that we have just the right aerodynamic characteristics that we want for that rocket to come in a very stable way.
Engine restart on that VE3 confirmed. Altitude dropping fast. Sonic boom here in the studio. Hear that? Feel that for sure. That beautiful booster hover. And booster touchdown. Welcome back, New Shepard. Thank you so much again for joining us for our third human flight. We just landed the booster. The show is not over. Here we see our crew capsule on final descent back to the West Texas desert. Let's wait for that now. Look at that booster on the pad, all in a day's work for the workhorse of this operation.
All right, and there go the drogue parachutes. That's a beautiful sight, slowing down the capsule. And there we go, the drogues lifting out the main parachutes. Looks like we have 3 beautiful parachutes there in their reef configuration. And the release, the disreef, there we go. 3 beautiful main parachutes.
And on your screen, you're seeing that velocity and altitude dropping.
So while these parachutes are obviously essential in providing a gentle touchdown for the crew capsule, New Shepard also has an innovative retro thrust system. So that's on the bottom of the capsule, and that will make touchdown even smoother for the astronauts flying today.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Where's my phone? I'm going to take a picture. We did it. We did it.
Yay! Dr. Peter, we're on the ground. Oh, my gosh. What a blast.
I see our shadow, actually. I can see the chute, the shadow.
We can hear audio from a very excited crew on their way back to Earth.
Right,
what a beautiful day in West Texas.
What a great view through those big windows there.
Stand by touchdown. Stand by touchdown.
So keep in mind here, there we go. Retro thrust and touchdown. All right, that is
cheering all around from the crew. I think it is safe to say that the word touchdown has a new meaning for Michael Strahan today.
Jackie, you are right.
There we have it, looking like a completely successful third human flight. That audio from the crew, so exciting. We also, if you couldn't hear it from the audio, we just double confirmed with Mission Control that all 6 astronauts have landed back safely and are doing great. So at this point, our team is going to prepare those landing safety operations to recover our astronauts from the crew capsule. We'll be on the ground at the landing site to follow the action in just a bit, and hopefully even hear from some of the world's newest astronauts.
So now here after touchdown, the capsule will be going through auto-safing. So the vehicle is going through some of its own procedures to vent some of the pneumatic system and turn off some of the power systems. And this is all while coordinating back with Mission Control, who will be running their own procedures to continue that safing procedure while we have our crew capsule recovery team driving out. Look at that. Lots of thumbs up, some waving. We have a happy crew in that capsule.
And look at that beautiful shot on your screen. You can see the booster, a field in the background. Now, Laura, I have to ask you what I think is a very difficult question. What was it like for you for the first time to see the launch from here instead of your normal position?
Yes, it's definitely a very different experience to be watching it from here. I have a little bit of FOMO with the crew who's driving out there. You can even see their dust as that lead car is quickly getting out to the recovery site. But oh my gosh, Jackie, thank you for having me here. This is very cool. Mission Control has just cleared that recovery crew for approach to the crew capsule. We'll see them here shortly. Love that camera view. I think it's safe to say we feel like we're in there with them. Laura, that was yeah,
for
there
you.
we go. Thank you.
That was specifically for you.
We're getting a beautiful 360 view here. The views from West Texas are gorgeous. There's mountains in every single direction that you're looking. We can even on the north, if they keep panning around, we'll see the tallest mountain in Texas, Guadalupe Peak.
So many waves. I think we just saw one from all 6, so that's very exciting on that 360. And there they are in view, the capsule recovery team racing out to meet our crew, the original 6 who just became official astronauts. So Laura, this is your team out there. Can you talk a little bit about what they're about to do to safe the capsule to prepare to take the crew off?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a few things that'll happen pretty quickly. There you see crew member 7 is going to run up and get a thumbs up. Looks like he's getting a thumbs up from all of them one by one, which I think we knew. We have a pretty happy crew there.
Yes.
Then we have our CC recovery team that's going to be responsible for doing some safing on the vehicle. So they will ground it to make sure there's not built up static charge. They're going to make sure the parachute risers are out of the way. They'll put the pins in for the escape system, and we should be seeing them approaching now that we have that thumbs up just right now.
And of course, once Mission Control and the recovery team decide that everything is good with the crew capsule, we'll see their family and friends, meet them out at the capsule as well, which is always a really special moment when the crew is walking out of the capsule and getting to see their family and friends for the first time.
Right, we've heard from everybody, just even in this moment right now when they're sitting in the capsule and they've just been to space and now they've just touched back down on Earth, like a very reflective moment for them on what a big experience this is.
There you see our founder, Jeff Bezos, out there waiting to greet the newest astronauts, and you see the blue stairs are up, just waiting to open that hatch. So right now, Mission Control will be going through their procedures, the capsule controller doing some power down of various systems, all while communicating here with our CC Recovery Task Leader, who's in charge of the vehicle out here in the field. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for a successful third human flight. We are minutes away here from that hatch opening, and we'll be greeting our crew for the first time back on Earth. There you see that New Shepard booster right in the background there, standing tall. Did a great job today.
I love that view when we get both vehicles out in the field like that.
Perfect. Welcome back, guys.
And Michael Strahan is out of the capsule. Big hug for our founder, Jeff Bezos, followed by Laura Shepard Churchley, Dylan Taylor, Lane Bess,
Thank you.
Cameron Best. And last but certainly not least, Evan Dick. Welcome back, the original six.
How did you do? No, we're fine.
There. Yeah, but when
you can't tell what I mean, you can't.
And it's
what
incredibly.
do Earth look like?
Like, it was dark. Could you see the?
Round.
Okay, Kyrie Irving.
Is it round?
You know, the
Flat Earther.
When you're going up and you're going, okay, it's getting dark, and you realize you're going to be in the darkness. You're not going to be in the light. You're going to be looking at the light in the dark.
Yeah.
It's like a.
Switch.
It's unreal.
I get it.
You gotta go.
You said, like, when you said you wouldn't go, and I was like, I'm not going till I'm
You
90,
see it?
I want to go now.
Yeah, you see it.
I'm like,
I'm telling you.
I get it.
And I told them in the class, I said, you guys have experienced it this way. You got to come back and experience the launch and watch the rocket land, just to get that perspective from it, because that's what really picture.
Was it what you expected?
Oh, wow. I visualize. I don't watch the videos. Don't watch the videos.
Same thing. I had the same
That's
feeling.
what every astronaut says.
I want to go back.
I want to go back.
Yeah.
Space station next.
These guys are like, you know, it's great and all. It's great. And more people are going to be drawn to it. I said, no, it's going to be hard for you guys to get another ticket. That's the catch.
You got to pay for the next one.
Yeah, I'm in.
Love seeing this crew embracing family and friends, and we're getting some awesome snippets of their experience.
I tell you,
that's a good idea.
That was beyond.
How were the G's?
Okay, this is the thing. The G's, it's a face, not a facelift. It's a face drop. All right, you're
Really?
I know what I'm going to look like at 85.
Hi to the viewers at home. Welcome home. Thank you. Welcome home. Thank you. And you were always there for me.
I love that. And Laura yells, I like this candle.
I practiced it every time we went into
Just like
oh, man.
I'm so happy. So you got something to talk about on the golf course now, don't you? Yeah. How good is that?
Oh, my goodness.
I know. Huh? I'm so happy. I'm so happy with both you guys.
Well, they were my boys.
Yeah.
You know, when I had to take that test.
Yeah.
So I'd look at one and I'd go 1, 2, or 3. And I don't know. I don't think 1, and I don't think 3. Oh, okay.
Okay, you're not right. How about I get some of these too?
Yeah, right. But this was just wonderful. I was trained so well. I knew exactly what was coming.
What did you see when you looked out the window?
Black.
Yes.
The black. I wasn't
So
expecting
much.
it, but I just thought, yeah.
It's so surprising how intense it is.
Yeah.
It's
great.
I know. Believe me, he was. This man loves you. He was nervous. I saw it.
Well, he was a strong bear the whole time we were here. So I never had any doubt.
No. I'm happy for her. What a cool deal, huh? After her dad, how cool is that? Well, there's nothing like it. No. Follow your dad.
Yeah, and I thought
Who
about
else could do that? Who else's dad was the first American in space?
I know.
Thank you.
I thought about Daddy coming down and thought, gosh, he didn't even get to enjoy any of what I'm getting to enjoy.
Right.
He was working.
It was all business.
Right.
Right.
He had to do it himself. I went
By
on
the way,
for the ride.
you seen how small his capsule was?
Oh, yeah.
It was like packed in that thing.
I hardly finished.
He wasn't doing somersaults. He didn't have your windows.
The only way he knew his weightless was his straps were flying.
Right.
Because he was strapped in.
He was part of that machine.
Exactly.
He was kind of wearing a suit is what he was doing.
Yeah. And we had looked at Dad and it was fine.
Thanks for
Forget it, Disney. Blue Origin's the best. Blue Origin's the best.
So happy.
Yeah. Okay, so we have astronauts in the line up for your presentation of your New Shepard astronaut wings. Yeah. Right here.
I got one of them. All right.
Theodore, so Laura.
Follow John. Follow John.
Dylan.
I love the flag.
Oh, Fred.
Lane, Evan.
I wore your flag.
Cameron. Perfect. Okay.
Aw.
All right. Michael's right here.
Michael.
Great.
You.
Yes.
Trying to adjust to it, huh?
Welcome
home, astronaut.
Very few people have been where you just went.
Oh man, hopefully many more will go.
Love you, man.
Thank you for that. Fantastic.
Laura Shepard Churchley. Laura.
Oh, wait, let me fix this.
Let me just assure you, you are the prettiest member of this.
Oh, thank you.
It's not even close.
No comparison.
And her hair looked great in space.
I bet it did.
It snaps back right into place.
Oh, yeah. Did anybody take a picture, thank you, of my hair?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's on camera.
Dylan Taylor.
Dylan. Congratulations.
So great.
Yeah. I'm so happy for you. Oh my God. What a gift. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's
Thank you very much. That was a great experience.
What a journey.
I'm going to do it again.
Get me in line. Get me in line. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, yes.
Hey, Cameron.
Oh, man. Yes, thank you so much.
So happy for you.
He's having a harder time now than when he was up in the rocket.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Evan.
You made my dream come true.
I'm so
And then,
Thank you so much.
I hope he does.
Oh, boy. Wait, the original six. Put hands up. Original six. Yeah.
Original 6 on 3. 1, 2, 3. I know, that wasn't very well coordinated.
The original six back and seemingly better than ever.
Oh my gosh.
Such poignant words from our crew.
Yeah, I heard a few. I want to go again, or that was dream come true. That is just so amazing to hear that straight from them after this. What a day. What
That's
a day.
the most special thing that we can hear at Blue Origin.
Oh, yeah, that was Kevin in, yeah.
Okay, eyes on me here, on this camera. Okay, celebration! Yeah! Congrats, guys. Woo!
You're in a rush. No, you can't. No, you can't.
Astronaut, stay behind, please. Perfect.
You can't
Astronauts, I'm going to put the pins, the backs on your pins real quick so they don't fall out.
Sure. Can you give me a couple?
Okay. That is incredible. I am so happy for you guys.
Well, that was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today for Blue Origin's third human flight. A very extra special thank you to our customers on board, Evan, Lane, Dylan, and Cameron. If you're interested in reserving your seat on a future rocket ride to space and back, it starts by visiting blueorigin.com and clicking Fly to Space. Laura, I said it before, but I can't thank you enough for sharing the desk and adding your invaluable perspective. I'm sure you wanted to be out there, but we all appreciate you being in here for this mission. Thank you.
I'm honored to be here. Yes, thank you so much. Very fun to be here today.
The road to space is being built. You saw it here today. If you're interested in joining our extraordinary, very fast-growing team, please visit our website on the careers page.
And if you'd like to commemorate the day, Alan Shepard's daughter followed in his footsteps, iconic footsteps to space. We have mission patches, and as an homage to his legacy, Glenn DeVries' initials are on the patch.
So special. My name is Jackie Cortez. For Laura Stiles and everybody here at Blue Origin, thank you so much for joining us. Until our next launch, Gradatum Ferociter.
Hands up.